Hi everyone, it's Holy Taboo, and this time on Taboo's Tips, we're going to go over boss scrolls. Now, not the weekly ones, so I'll do a little bit about that in the end, but I'm going to go over the daily boss scrolls. Now, this is something personally which I find really interesting. When I first started playing this game, and I do believe it's sort of a bad habit picked up from many other MMOs, when it comes to picking up quests and handing them in, I sort of spam the button to accept and hand in. So on this, when I speak to people like the Black Spirit or any of the quest givers, I'm always spamming R. Now, the problem is, that's great to an extent, but it means that you sort of miss things. And it was only after a while, and luckily it was quite a while ago now I noticed this, when you speak to the Black Spirit, he gives you more than one daily option. Now, this at the time blew my mind, because every time I did a boss scroll, I was always getting red nose. Now, of course, at the time, this was before boss armors was really introduced, it wasn't really a big deal, because for me it was more about getting the hunter seals and the weapon and armor stones. But now, since they've released the boss armor, I was so happy to see this. I say now, I do realise it's been out for a while, but I do think there's still a lot of people that don't understand this. So what I'm going to do in this video is go through and show you the different daily scrolls you can pick up, and also go over the loot that you have a chance to drop, because some of it really is the best in slot. And the irony behind it is, if you are constantly picking red nose, though the chest is a fantastic chest, for most classes it isn't best in slot, and you can probably pick a better boss scroll. So let's go through them. So, confronting Berg, and this is my personal choice to go for. If you go for this scroll, you will have the Alter Imp Captain. Now, when you go to do this, he has a chance of dropping Berg's gloves in his little pouch. Now, as you can see on the screen here, the Berg's gloves, the best thing about them is every time you upgrade them with the black stones, they increase their effect on them, and the effect is increased accuracy. Now, accuracy is so important in this game, and most of us are probably using accuracy offhand. If you get these gloves and put them up to level 15, you can probably do away with your accuracy offhand, and that means you can put an AP offhand on, and that is absolutely fantastic, and that is why I personally always choose this scroll. So, confronting Red Nose, this is a quest that as R spammers always pick up. Now, though this scroll is obviously good, you can get the Red Nose armor, this isn't best in slot. It does give you increased HP recovery and also gives you some mana or whatever resource you use, but there are better chests, so maybe don't spam this one straight away, but it's still a very good item. Okay, another option which you can go for is confronting Gaiath. Now, Gaiath actually gives you the Goblin Chief Summoning Scroll. Now, Gaiath has a chance of dropping his helmet. Now, Gaiath's helmet again has high DP, also has 2 sockets like the rest of them, and gives you maximum HP. Now, obviously, I don't need to say why this is good, but maximum HP, more survivability, and there are a lot of classes which actually have HP scaling moves. So this is also pretty nice, and probably a better option to go for than Red Nose if you're spamming R. So, for one of the newer scrolls that have came out, you can get the Secret Cultist Research. Now, if you do this quest, you get a Morgana Summoning Scroll. Now, this boss is, or it's called the Bebe boss, can drop 2 main items. You can get the Ancient Weapons Core, which is a belt with 4 AP, 4 DP, and it also has a nice set piece bonus if you're lucky enough to get the other item, which is the Ancient Guardian Seal, which I believe is for the neck. Now, this is 6 AP, 3 DP, both good scaling and both very good items. Now, although these aren't daily boss scroll rewards, it's definitely worth saying that these are very interesting. These are from the weekly boss scrolls. Now, one of the best in slots for a lot of classes is the Hebetrat's Tree Spirit armor. Now, this gives you a large amount of HP and a large amount of, well, your resource. Now, this comes from the weekly boss scroll. These are random, but if you get the Hebetrat Tree Spirit, this can drop, and also the Tree Spirit belt, which is nice. Also, similarly, you can get the Muskan shoes. If you get the weekly Muskan scroll boss, you can basically get these shoes, and every time you enchant these, you get plus evasion. These are fantastic, and it's definitely worth keeping in mind. So, maybe just a part to wrap this up then. If you're speaking to your Black Spirit on a daily basis and you're just spamming R to get the first quest that he gives you, maybe it's worth taking a step back and thinking, hey, what do I really need? If you really think you need a better helm or better gloves, maybe you want to choose a different boss scroll instead. I personally would always suggest Berg. The accuracy they give you is insane. But it is worth saying why people find the boss armor so good. Now the boss armor, like Heathen Grunnels, has 2 gem sockets on each. Now that means it's really customizable. You can get some great gems in these. And of course, it's definitely worth mentioning that if you have more than 1 piece, you start getting some set effects. If you have 2 pieces of the boss armor, you have max stamina of plus 200. That's fantastic for moves which take stamina. I can imagine that to be really, really good. And the 3 piece, even better, attack speed +1 and cast speed +1. Now keep in mind that on your gloves you already have 2 sockets which you can fill with 2 attack speed or 2 crit gems on each. That means you can easily get your 5 attack speed. Now of course, hopefully you'll have a Laverta or a Kazaka weapon by then and you can start gemming that accordingly, but this set really does give you some good options which you can use and play around with. Also the DP is higher and that is why this is seen as current best in slot. So please, I hope you found this interesting, and I hope now I won't see so many people doing red nose, unless you really do want the red nose armor. In that case, you keep going at it guys. Thanks for listening, take care, bye.